shows going away?
Well, because I don't really see the future
You know what?
generations really
That's a
taking
good
on.
episode.
No, so
That's a
is,
good episode.
will game shows go away?
That's a good episode.
Let's
That's a
talk
good
about
topic.
this for a minute.
We
Let's
let
warm
us.
ourselves up.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
gotta.
go for
will
it.
game shows go away?
Introduce
Okay,
us
so
first.
here's my thing, right? I noticed game shows that come on early in the day, during the week, mind you, like around 10, maybe 11 a.m., and everyone on there is an older person, probably their 30s to 40s to 50s, right? So these are grown adult people. You don't really see young people on there, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it seems like a generational thing that's kind of going away, because you don't really see game shows, and what I mean is on TV. YouTube, that's a different conversation, but on TV, I don't think game shows will last about another 10 years because of YouTube. Like look at okay, prime example, Mr. Beast, right? A lot of kids watch that guy. A lot of kids.
I agree with that.
So the concept of game shows isn't going anywhere. It's just the platform that they're on. And I would say like they're not going to survive or really stay on TV when YouTube exists.
Well,
That's a good question.
that's a good question, Vic, but I don't like certain ones. Like you see, like the difference of the pattern of the years has changed. Like back in what I say, the '80s was TV show, game shows was irrelevant. Like
I would say that was their prime. Yeah.
prime. You had Jeopardy, you had Wheel of Fortune, you had Family Feud, the
Price
old
is
version.
Right.
Price is Right.
So think about
So-
it. So think about just what you just said. Name those shows. So you said Jeopardy,
Jeopardy,
Wheel of
Wheel
Fortune,
of Fortune,
Price is Right, Family Feud.
Those four
How
particularly.
long have those been on?
Those are older than the 80s. It's about like what, 50s?
Probably the
60s?
60s, probably the 70s. Let's say the 70s. Those in the color era. So let's say the 70s. Think about what's still on.
Jeopardy,
Family Feud.
Wheel of Fortune, and Price is Right.
And so you're not wrong in what you're saying. I think that it's one of those rare things in TV that's generational. That it gets passed. It's one of those rare things in TV that gets passed on. There's about 3 things that's got passed down in TV throughout the years. Game shows is one of them. Meaning that it's the one thing that you can sit there with your mom or with your grandparents if they're still living, and you can sit there and 30 minutes.
Wow.
30 minutes, and you can sit there and watch Jeopardy and or Wheel of
You
Fortune
know what?
and not have to.
You know what? You are not wrong about that because it hasn't been a day in my life when on a Friday when my grandmother got rest her soul, watching Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, eating some cookies
here's
and
the
some
other
snacks,
thing.
just chilling. But
What's
that's
the most neutral thing that you could watch?
and
Like, hey,
educated and it's education, so
right.
you learn.
What's the most neutral thing that you could watch when you're watching TV with your mom or somebody? What's the first thing they gonna pop on? 7 o'clock. I guarantee you it's Jeopardy, and 7:30.
Yeah.
I guarantee you it's Wheel of Fortune.
Exactly.
If it's in the morning, that's the one thing that's passed down is Price is Right and
But think of how knowledge and education those two shows is alone. Because you'll sit in the living room and be like, man, now I want to know this. So you guess, so you learning something, and then your mom said you learning something from your mom or watching educating game show.
One thing is giving you a connection to your parents.
Yeah, that's
what it
a
does.
fact.
I should clarify. Now, clearly, I'm speaking solely here in the West. Take things over to the East, right? Say Korea or Japan. Game shows are alive and well.
Well, yeah.
They're very alive, and by that I mean like y'all, a lot of younger people are watching them and engaging them to where it's just like there's no real big generational gap.
Well,
as it is here.
that topic, that's because that generation they never had those kind of as of now access to the U.S. United States period
And
game
the crazy thing
shows.
is, yeah,
So when they finally get a chance to come around and see it, their enthusiasm and their mindset, because man, now I'm learning something educated, but I'm in a different country. They might not get that connection back then than it is now.
I think it's.
I mean, they could have.
no, it's a cultural.
I think it's a cultural thing, correct?
That's what I'm talking about. Here in the West, it's different because this is with a lot of things too. But it seems to be like here in the West that we love to drive a generational gap between generations.
Correct.
We just, for whatever reason, whether consciously or not, people just love to do that.
Right.
To where the older will always claim that their time was better than the younger, and that would put the younger in a defensive and almost spiteful position. And then when they're finally older, it kind of repeats. That always seems to be the topic of to where it hasn't been this way for a long time, the way it seems of the older guiding the younger. Instead, it seems to be the older driving the younger away.
That's part of it. That's a good topic, and that's part of it.
No, because you notice, here in the West, old people are viewed as a burden, a waste of space. What was it? It's just, well, put it simply, they're not viewed in a good light. They're not viewed positively. No, I'm not talking about anyone's personal grandma or anything, or their auntie or their grandpa. That's not what I'm talking about. But in general, the American people, the American youth, do not care for their old people.
The reason why is because it's nothing that they do or interested in them at this time of period than it was now. Because you got to think about it. What kids nowadays would enjoy a simple conversation with their grandparents right now?
You said something. Why wouldn't they enjoy it? It's relatability.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about a minute ago. Was
Right.
There's just this massive gap between generations where there really shouldn't be. Every generation should be like a chain linked to overall strength.
But then that
Well,
has to
it
work.
is.
That has to work on both sides too.
It is. But
Yeah.
here's the problem with it though. Because when you think about your grandparents to you. For your particular situation, it's a lot closer in proximity. But for a lot of people, it's so much separation.
Yeah, I
because
agree
a lot
with
of
you on
it
that
is because when your grandparents to your parents, look at the dynamic of what they have, and you start to see that there is a separation. You're like, well, my mom was nothing like my grandmother, like at all. They were polar opposites. They almost hated each other.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, that is because
I have to agree with you on that one.
No, because a lot of times situationally,
Yeah, you're not wrong on that one.
Situationally, like living places, they may have got, let's say, back in the 70s, your mom and grandma got into a fight, and you'll hear the stories. I mean, I know that you understand this, but you'll hear the stories. Somebody got into a fight. Somebody got kicked out.
Shit. Oh,
Somebody
God.
had to move from like the east
I
to the
can't believe
from the
when you
east
went
to the
there.
west.
But
here's
that's
why-
happened in my
here's why-
family too many
here's why I
times.
say
That's why I'm laughing.
important. Because you have a gap.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, it's so much of a separation because there was hatred that was happening at the time there. So the time that you would think that, oh, well, my mom and my grandmother would be hanging out and talking and stuff. Now, I can tell you my personal experience from my mom to my grandmother before my grandmother passed away. My mom would see my grandmother every Sunday like clockwork. We would go to church, we would see her. It was like clockwork. It was not a Sunday in time that we didn't go to church on Sunday and didn't go see my grandmother immediately thereafter. When we had Sunday dinner, y'all remember the movie Soul Food? Mm-hmm. It was kind of like soul food. Like my grandmother, even whether she was sick, well, whatever, she always had something cooking, and we always had dinner there. I don't care what the situation was. Now,
more like soul food, not like cookout.
it's exactly like soul food, like real Sunday dinner, sit at the table, hang out. And when we did that, here's the thing, we would talk about what happened at church, what happened. So when my grandmother would want to watch something, it wasn't like, oh, well, kids, y'all could watch what y'all want to watch. No. Whatever grandmommy wanted to watch, we would watch. So here's the thing. If my grandmother wanted to watch Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy, we watch Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy. If my grandmother wanted to watch the Laker game, we watch the Laker game. If my grandmother wanted to watch Joel Osteen or whoever it may be, that's who we watched because it was my grandmother's call. It wasn't the kids' call of what we watch. It's my grandmother's house. If she wanted to watch whatever she wanted to watch, she would. Which goes back into your conversation of why there's a gap between what we watch. It's because back in the day, we as kids, grandkids, had the respect to say, no, we ain't gonna play no video game. Even though she would let us do it, she was like, grandmommy, whatever you want to watch, we're gonna watch. You didn't have 20 different TVs in the house. You had 3. There was one in my grandmother's room, there was one in the living room, and there was one in the other room where the kids would hang out when
we was in the den. We was
Exactly.
in the den. Like
just keeping it
we
talk.
could, like at my great grandmother's house, we couldn't beat.
And I promise you, if you touched that TV as a kid, I promise you there was either a hand getting hit, somebody getting thrown something across the table, something.
Because it'll be like, she'll tell us, I know the living room mine, so yeah, if y'all want to go play video games, y'all in the den.
So here's the other thing. Even with the whole thing of it was the adults who controlled the TV. The grandmother controlled the TV. So grandmommy wanted to watch Family Feud with Richard Dawson. That's what we watched.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what we had to do? But see, here's the kicker. So when grandmommy would watch it, she would be in there watching it. And so we would just, because we didn't have no choice on whatever we had to watch. We had to sit there, so we would sit there and watch it with her. But here's what happened in that process. It allowed us to actually have the conversation with my grandmother. And it's like, oh, well, what's the answer to this? What's that? Oh, come to find out, in my particular instance, that my family was on Family Feud. So there is footage of Family Feud before we were on there in the 80s.
My homegirl Zan, she was
was on there.
Yep,
Shout out to Zan. She was on there in like the 90s or whatever. My grandmother and
a couple years back.
My aunt and them was on there in the 80s. They had it was so crazy when they used to give out the like parting gifts. They gave them like a washer and dryer because they lost. Mm-hmm. And they had one of the original Family Feud games that's like built with cardboard and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Still
nice.
have that to this day. It's a collectible. I told that I would never ever leave a family.
But
hearing all this, I think one of the big problems is that for a long time now, what I was talking about, why is there gaps? Why is there hatred? Why is there animosity? Why is there spite? It's a simple reason. It's a lack of forgiveness in a lot of ways. And people don't really understand what forgiveness is. They're really not capable of giving forgiveness. Anyone can say, I forgive you, but they still think about it, they still dwell on it, and the biggest thrower is that they throw it back at the person at a later date, which is not forgiveness, that's
revengeful time.
Yeah, agreed.
And forgiveness is really important, but these people don't know how to forgive. They don't even know what it is. They just think forgiveness is saying the words, I forgive you. It's just like the misconception of thinking that's what love is saying the words, I love you. Not realizing that those words are supposed to have a meaning behind meaningful actions.
That's the kicker.
That's
meaningful
just
action.
the thing.
That's just, right there what you just said too, Vic. People don't mean it of the actions because they don't want to. Sometimes they don't want to admit when they know in a situation if they were right or wrong. So when people say forgiveness, sometimes they say, "Oh, I forgive you," but in a different term. But they not.
No. They know.
No. They'll forgive you, but they ain't forgiven yet.
No. So they didn't
And
forgive
that's
you.
not
No.
forgiveness.
Yeah.
They don't see the thing
But
is
right
they
there.
don't. So when you talk about forgiveness, well, we gonna get
Go
back
ahead,
to
go
our
ahead.
but when we talk about forgiveness in particular, it's not just you saying the words. It's like Vic said. That comes with the action. So forgiveness means that we're gonna drop this. I forgive you for not giving me that $20 back. Cool. I don't care about it. We ain't gonna ever talk about it again.
Yeah,
That doesn't mean that I don't completely forget about it, because if I see a pattern, my job is to correct the pattern. But that doesn't mean I don't forgive you for what you did.
That goes back to what is real love. That's the choices you make. In the
Right.
sense of what is forgiveness? What is real forgiveness? It's not the thing of you forgive and forget. No. Forgiveness is even though you remember, you actively choose never to bring it up again.
Right.
You never throw it back in their face. You never talk about it again. You actively choose, despite how you feel. You may feel some form of bitterness, but you still choose not to say anything. Why? Because you said, I forgive you, and that's forgiveness.
Right.
Forgiveness is not forgetting and feeling nothing. That's not real. That's not human emotion. It's saying, I forgive you.
Right.
It's
And we
over.
let it go. Exactly.
Despite it. Even if it's like a decade later and then this topic comes up again, or you see something that reminds you of what happened, you don't say anything.
Right,
You bite your tongue if it bleeds, if necessary.
And even if it comes back up in conversation or comes back up in the top, even after the situation comes exactly up again, and if you decide to forget that person again, guess what? It's still the same conversation. I remember what you did. This is what you said before. I'm still going to forgive you, but just be aware that I understand that there's a pattern, and you may need to correct the pattern.
And the problem is too, a lot of people.
I hate. Sorry, Vic, but I hate.
I know it's tough.
I hate that you're right on that too, because I forgive you, but just watch your
No,
surroundings on
No,
certain little
forget that.
settings.
It's not even. But
Because
it's to forgive you.
people still,
Period.
even with that, people still hold a grudge. It's still take a person, even though they said they forgive you.
Right,
That's what I'm talking
because it's conditional forgiveness.
Yeah, that's the problem. People don't understand what biblical
It's like
forgiveness
it's like conditional forgiveness is like conditional love. I'll love you if.
Yeah.
I'll love you if you do this. I'll forgive you if. That's conditional.
But-
if I say I forgive you, I forgive you. It's straight. If I say I love you, and that's it. There is no conditions to the love.
Okay.
The conditions is not I'll forgive you if you give me $100. I'll forgive you if you pay for my food for the next month. That's
But-
conditional.
But on a personal note, why is it so hard for people just to admit when they know they were wrong on a certain situation?
Because the emotional feelings behind the I don't want to feel. We talked about this last week.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel less than. And so when you gotta come to somebody and say, look, my bad, you in your heart you're feeling less than at that moment.
It's pride. It's always a thing of pride.
Right. You're feeling less than. And when you feel that pride and that less than, the hardest thing for you to do is be like, hey yo, Vic, my bad for doing this. And, I may say it in a casual way, but I may be feeling like terrible inside for what I've done. And I have to go to this man and say, look, I need you to forgive me for this. And he's not obligated to do it, by the way.
Yeah, all right, you're forgiven.
Chicken sandwich. But like you said before, this generation of different persons.
But here's the other thing I want to get to. Yeah, but you're not wrong. But here's the other thing I want to get to, and I'm going to let you get back to that point.
Yeah.
It's super important. Remember I told you about how the adults controls the conversation? The reason why you see a lot of things change
Because it's been flipped.
is flipped. The kids control the conversation. So that same scenario in this day and age is not the whatever the parents say what's on the TV goes. Whatever the kids want to have on that TV goes.
Now, yeah.
Think about it. Think
Yeah.
about it. So if a kid wants to play video games on that TV, the parents may want to watch a Laker game, but the kids want to play video games. What's on the TV? The video games are on the TV because the kids
They're
control
just
the
playing
conversation.
NBA2K.
And they're playing. You take the words out of my mouth. And the words is they're literally playing 2K and not really watching the game.
Yeah.
They don't even really know the players on the game. They only know them because they play them in a video game. But they're not watching the actual game. They're watching actually LeBron James play. They just know LeBron James LeBron James is a 99 overall. He's a shot creator, yada, yada. They know all that. But they couldn't rattle off not one real stat about LeBron James.
Yeah, they know his video game stats.
Exactly.
They got a pet. They
They
create a
know the shots are like a 97. They know the drive is a 95. They know that. That's why I said the way that we do things in life now is so backwards. It's not. Parents think that they control the narrative, but they let their kids control it because they're so afraid that their kids that they can't discipline them or anything like that. That it controls the narrative. So you lose these aspects of having a conversation of speaking. So when you have the generational gap now between kid to grandparent, now it's like day and night because the kids control the narrative and the grandparents like, well, I want to try to show you this.
It's just one of those things where it's kids are very special in society because they're not as stupid as people think,
Right.
but they're a lot dumber than they appear, right? And by that I mean it's like mentally capable. Yeah, they're not stupid. They can mentally function. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean what I mean to say is they lack really. What every child lacks is not necessarily intelligence; it's wisdom.
Yes.
And they're not getting that wisdom, so they're growing up very unwise. They don't have any sense of discernment because this is a society that has removed the Bible from the topic,
That's
which
part of it.
has a blueprint on how to raise your children in the correct way.
Yep.
There's only one way to do it. The Bible tells you how to do it. Right? People don't want that anymore. They've removed the Bible from society. So that's why things are going so bad because people are like, well, why is this wrong? Why is this bad? Why? And when you don't have the Bible to back it up, and you just say, well, just because of morals, because of that, the child has no reason to listen to that because in their head, that's stupid. There's no authority behind it.
It's a teaching thing. That's the thing that you don't understand. Because a lot of times is the parents don't want to sit there and teach. They don't want to say, like, look, sit down for a little bit. Let me show you what's going on with this show. Even something simple like Jeopardy. You know how many educational facts that they throw on Jeopardy, but you can't get a kid to sit down for 30 minutes. Say, look, don't be on your phone. Don't play video games. Don't do this. Just sit here and hang out with your parents, hang out with pops for a little bit.
And they're so quick to say, oh, he has ADHD or something, or no, he's just a kid. You need to know how to work with that. Giving your kid drugs is not helpful.
No, it's the discipline. You have to. So you gotta discipline.
I mean, that's a whole nother different conversation right there.
Kids early on,
no, that's what I mean.
but that's why there's a gap between what you see. Because you started the conversation was, where has game shows gone? Game shows really hasn't gone anywhere because you still have a generation that still likes it, watches it, respects it, and you've seen it done in different ways. So it's just how the game shows are done now. So game shows went from being just you win this, you win some money, you learn a little something in the process, question out. You still got $100,000 pyramid and some of these other ones. But here's what you also have. Hollywood Squares. So you have two versions of the Hollywood Squares. You have the old school version of the Hollywood Squares, where it was kind of jokes, funny, all this stuff. Now you got the hood version of Hollywood Squares, where it was kind of trying to cater to like the black demographic, which is fine. But the problem is it wasn't really built on the.
But see, on that aspect, I think they was trying to generate a younger audience right there because they figured like, okay, what is some of these kids like?
But it was more about the jokes than it was about the actual show. And that's where it comes down to, and especially you see it now. So now, everything that they do now, as far as like game shows trying to come up with something new, they try to do it like a video game.
Yeah.
Y'all ever noticed that now? So,
or Squid Games.
That's what I was going to
what
next.
game?
So the Netflix show.
Yeah, it was an alright
Oh,
show.
I know what you're talking about now.
And now a lot of things try to mimic it.
Yeah.
And so
I didn't like that.
I never watched it.
You want to know why? No, Squid Games was cool.
I mean, it was cool for the first one, but
basically, Squid Games is basically like a.
Game show.
Yeah, so if you saw what a game show, or think of it like this. The concept was basically like a Fortnite. So y'all know how Fortnite's played. Whoever, there's 100 people, and you got to be the last one standing. Mm-hmm. Sounds like Fortnite, right? They just did it in a way where it's just more like it wasn't about guns and shooting somebody down. It was more about doing these other answers. Oh no, better yet, it was like Fall Guys. Y'all played the game Fall Guys. Y'all seen the game Fall Guys. It's basically like that. You do all these little stunts and antics, and whoever was the last one standing is the one who wins.
like playing Call of Duty.
No, it's not even like.
Kind of, yeah.
But this one's like, it's 100 people. You get to one. It's basically Fall Guys in a TV show format.
So let me take a guess. You already got your account set up and your character played on Fortnite.
I know the reason why. The reason why I play it is because for me to have relatability with my younger cousins, that's what they play.
Yeah.
So I, as a parent or as an uncle, big uncle,
Uncle Cam.
because their parents don't play. Their grandparents obviously don't play. There needs to be some sort of bridging of the gap. So I was the bridge gap because you know what it was for me when I was their kid? I was the one who played the video games. My mom didn't play. My grandparents didn't play. We played board games. But here's what I still did. I still made sure that when my parents or my uncles and aunts, when they were playing spades, bid whist, dominoes, things like that, guess what I was doing? I was on the table. So I was on the table as a 14, 15, 16-year-old playing spades, bid whist, and dominoes. Why do you think I'm good at it?
Yeah,
and why do I tell people at the job that I'm nice?
Don't start this again.
I've been doing
I don't want
this.
to talk about this, all right? I suffered a loss to dominoes to this man, and I should have learned better.
But the reason why I say I'm good at it is because I made it a point to have not just to learn, but to sit at the table. So for me, it was more fun when I was watching my uncles and aunts play and how much fun they were having. we as the younger generation would just look at them and we would want to like teach us how to play, teach us how to play. Nah, y'all too young. Y'all gotta wait. Y'all time. We'll teach it to you, but you gotta wait until you get older enough to get to the.
I remember them days.
So they would put us at the kiddie table and make us play dominoes at the kiddie table.
But you learning, you flipping dominoes,
because
you making stuff out of it.
You have to learn it.
Yeah.
And then once you get to the grown folk table, we'll let you play. And so I remember with my uncle Daryl, my uncle Stevie, shout out to my family, of course, and they let me sit at the grown folk table for the first time and play dominoes. And I started winning. And they were like, oh yeah, you my partner. You my partner, you about to make us some money today.
But right there, that's a charitable moment right there, because you're not only having fun, but you also bonding with the family, making a family time bond.
That's
Yeah.
what it was. And so when we have family functions, we can sit there and watch different things and have a
And
relatability.
those days ain't there no
We don't
more.
have it because the kids wasn't controlling the conversation. I didn't control the conversation. I had to wait my turn. And what I try to instill with my two kids is that, look, we're going to teach you all this stuff, and we're going to let you get to the point where you control the conversation. But there's a lot of things you got to learn from us first before you can start controlling the conversation. You can't have kids controlling the conversation at 4, talking about, I'm on the TV playing Grand Theft Auto, shooting guns and nudity and all this stuff at the age of 4. Because your parent don't want to be a parent. Your parent don't want to control the conversation. That's why you have the kids the way that they are now.
All right,
Anyway.
boys. It sounds like we're all warmed up. Let's start the show.
Anyway, if y'all didn't get a chance to hear all the intro, we're gonna do all that right now. We got people still sick in the building. He ain't sick. He just trying to cough out that cold
Oh,
out.
that mucus.
But y'all know how we get down, man. This is episode 72, laying pipe with the PVC Crew. Y'all know how we get down. If y'all saw the intro, we've been diving in through like a sideways topic just to get warmed up. But we got a couple other topics we want to address real quick. But before we do, I gotta have my boy Paul say what's up to the people. It's been a minute. Say hi to the people, family.
What's up, people? Tuning in to episode 72 here, back at it again at the table. It's been an interesting topic for today, what's going to be leading on to today's topic, what we're doing. But besides that, it's an honor and a blessing to be back at the table with my boys. So I'm going to pass it to my boy Vic. Vic, hey, what's up to the peoples?
Good morning, everybody. Glad to be back here again with my brothers Cameron and Paul. Talking to you, episode 72. We got some topics today. We're going to start off on a little more of a lighthearted one, but it's going to get a little heavy later on. So just, compared to the other
Don't
topics,
get this brother started on that.
But we got some serious stuff to talk about today. We do hope you enjoyed as usual. And I'm going to pass it over to the one and only Cam.
You know how it be, Cam, a.k.a. Mr. Nerd Boy Fresh.
Ficky.
Follow me on the gram and all that good stuff. You know how we get down. Appreciate all 102 subscribers.
No. 3.
103 subscribers?
3 now.
Shout out to all 103 subscribers that's been rocking along with us. It's definitely a privilege and an honor to have y'all rocking along with the squadron, of course. And for all the people who's new, who's been checking in, ducking in and out of the conversation, y'all know what to do. Like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. We don't jack for likes and stuff like that. We want y'all to like and subscribe on your own. If y'all like what we talk about, y'all like what we do, just like and subscribe to the page. Kind of rock along with us. We're going to just keep dropping topics and stuff.
Bling, bling.
Appreciate all the comments. We've been reading the comments. We go through all the comments and stuff. Appreciate all the comments y'all been leaving as well. Appreciate y'all who've been reaching out on like the Instagram and on the TikTok and all that stuff. We appreciate all of you as well. Keep joining us along on the YouTube stuff. Once we get a little bit more situated, we will be getting back on Twitch. We didn't forget about that. We just want to make sure we get a little bit more situated. We're going back on Twitch. We'll be doing some Instagram live, some YouTube live, amongst other things. And we're gonna be dropping a lot of different content. Shout out to our sponsors and all that stuff as well. We appreciate y'all. And shout out to Jason Lang. I saw you hit a comment a couple of days ago, man.
Our
Shout
boy.
out to you. I know you're doing well. We're gonna get you back on the table soon. Shout out to Dirty Joe. I know he's been out there in Atlanta. He just got back in town. Shout out to him. He got a lot of things cooking. When you talk to Bam Majera again,
Yeah.
Bam,
Please let a boy know.
Throw that man some runs so we get him over here at the table with us.
That'd be whew.
But besides that, let me lead in with this. Cause I'm gonna jump right into it. I had y'all take a look at this a little while ago, but I'm gonna put the picture up for the people. I know my boys can't see it, but I'm gonna put the picture up for the people who's watching along. So y'all saw the Super Bowl. And if y'all didn't see the Super Bowl, the game was good. San Francisco got clipped at the end, but we ain't gonna talk about the sports aspect of it. I need to talk about this aspect with Usher and what happened at his halftime show. Because there's a lot of things that was important about the show, for one. So, the show in itself. Everybody's saying it was the best halftime show ever.
To a degree.
No. Trash. Trash.
Really?
Trash.
I didn't watch it.
It was trash.
Okay. You
And
want to tell us your opinion on that?
You allow me to elaborate because the sound wasn't that great. If you really saw it, the sound was popping in and out. You couldn't really project his vocals. He wasn't really singing that well.
Only part I didn't like, because I thought that was Kanye West and it turned out to be will.i.am. It was a switch off. I thought it was Kanye West myself.
There was a lot of things.
Everybody thought that was Kanye West.
I knew it was will.i.am because anybody who knows the song knew that will.i.am produced it.
Yeah, he did.
But this is what I was telling you. There were so many things going on that it felt like it was too much. Did that make sense? Mm-hmm. So when you saw him go through all of his show and stuff, it was a lot of things going on. It was too, when I say it was too Vegas, it was way too Vegas. Stripper poles down there, girls dancing. Right. We got that, but that's a Vegas thing. Flamingo girls, all that stuff dancing.
That's a Vegas thing.
You had the Cirque du Soleil team and all that stuff. They did their thing.
I like
but that's
that.
very Vegas. You know, you had will.i.am jump on stage. You had the little picture production on the stage. So that's all Vegas. Which is, like I said, it just seemed like it was just too many things going on, so you really couldn't grasp what he was trying to do.
Well, like you said, that's Vegas.
But his vocals wasn't really that good. So when he's singing, when you hear him really trying to sing, he wasn't hitting no notes really well. The notes wasn't really singing as if you saw him live on the stage. If he was at his regular residency, he would have gave that show 100 times better than what he was on that stage.
So you think he just kind of phoned it in?
No, he didn't phone it in. I think he was doing too much.
Okay, so he overdid it.
Yes, he was. Because for Usher, this was the biggest moment in his career so far. Because this is the point in time where...
How old is he?
Usher.
30...
No?
No, he's 30. So he's 36, 37. Yeah, he's
so
old.
He's in his mid-30s.
Yes.
Really?
No,
I thought he was older, like in his 40s.
This is a little bit of a derail, but would you say...
Damn, that's because I'm 36, and I'm like, damn, I thought he was...
Yeah, he's about to age, yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
so mid-30s. Is that old for a rapper?
Well, he's not really a rapper. He's an R&B singer, and is it old? In this day and age, no. I mean, in this day and age, no. Because there's rappers who's been doing it longer and who's been sustainable.
Okay, because you said
I had to think about that one. That's a good question, Victor.
Because you said something interesting. That you said this is the highlight of his career.
Yes.
Far.
Yes.
Insinuating that he's still building.
Yes.
Because some would say that he's made it.
Well, he has made it. I mean, when I say he's made it, that means he's had a career spanning about 18 to 20 years.
And another way to say he's made it sustainable.
Yes, he's made it he made it to where
he has not made it.
He's so relevant where he's been there consistently.
Let me put it to you in this way, Vic. He's at the top, I will say 5 highest level R&B singers of all time. Clearly. So you cannot go without saying his name if you're gonna put him in the top 5.
When you say top 5 R&B male artists of all time, you are probably starting that conversation with either him or I hate to say his name, but I will mention it now.
R. Kelly.
Him or R. Kelly. You're starting that conversation with them too.
Okay.
And then you talk to Bobby Brown, Chris Brown, some of the others.
All
But
right.
be that as it may. So when I say he gets to this point, this is his pinnacle moment because this is his biggest stage and his biggest platform where the most eyes are on you at any one given point in time. This is the time where if you didn't have fans and if you were good enough, you would get more fans. If you were trash, you would get a lot less fans because there's so many eyes on you. When people watch the Super Bowl, you have...
So almost a make or break.
It's more of a...
Make
or disable.
It will... I don't think it makes them. I think it puts them into you're in the conversation of.
So it puts them in brackets.
It puts them in the big kid bracket. When I say the big kid bracket, this puts you in the.
They say he don't have to because he's already in a bracket of his own.
No, he's not in the bracket of his own because when you talk about
you're
gonna put him in the bracket of the Jay-Z. He can sit at the big kid table. Right now, he was sitting at the second, I ain't gonna say the little kid table, but he was at the second table. You know,
Now-
when there's
Are
tables,
you saying, like what we were talking about, he was at the kitty table?
kind of.
Kinda.
But he was like, so when I say he was like kitty table, he was like at the head of the kitty table.
That don't sound good.
No, I know what he mean. I know where he's going with that.
Mean
but
that.
he basically he
So
ain't.
there's a, so I say like this, there is a
Hold
difference.
on. So basically, he ain't got his big boy pants on yet. Now he does, if that makes sense.
All right,
There is
so-
a difference between, there's a difference between Eminem and
Skittles?
MGK. There's a difference between,
And it surely is.
there is a difference between,
Because no offense, MGK, but
no,
Eminem is a
I'm
better
saying
rapper.
there's a difference between
I'll put that on.
50 Cent
Game.
and Little Durk.
Oh, you went there.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just giving you comparisons.
No.
Because
I like the enthusiasm on that
certain
one.
ones have made it, and certain ones are trying to get to the table, and certain ones they'll get super popular, but they will never make it to the table. Like Lil Baby, as good as people may think he is right now, will never get to the table.
Off topic.
Drake just got to the table.
You know, off topic, but I'm curious. You think Nate Dogg would still be, he'd still be making it?
Yeah.
He's not dead?
Absolutely.
Whoa,
Absolutely.
really? Yeah, that's a good question.
Nate, with Nate
That ain't- but that ain't a
Nate
question.
Dogg,
That's
Nate
a,
Dogg will be making it. He's one of those ones who
that's not a question to even ask, dude. That's
he's
a,
one
that's
of those ones
that's
who
a made it
He made artists.
R&B. Yeah.
No, he
Well, that's
made
what I mean.
artists.
Would he still be making albums, or would he be making people?
No, he was making
Both.
He made no. He
Yeah,
didn't
dude.
have to make.
I mean, he
artists.
really didn't have to
didn't-
be
he didn't-
anybody's single,
He made
dude.
an album, but nobody really bought the album for him. He made those artists.
So-
believe it or not, it was
Nate
the
Dogg.
hook.
Let me explain it. Let me jump in on it. So basically, Nate Dogg is the best if you want to put a feature together. So for example, if you say for instance, if we go out and go riding right now, Nate Dogg will be the best chauffeur to be in that ride. Meaning is if we threw a party right now, he's a good person to have next to you while you're on stage.
No, better yet, I'm gonna keep it to in music terms. When you're making a song and you're building somebody to put the song together, and you need a male vocalist to sing the hook,
Whew.
there is only probably 2 or 3 people who you're calling to sing hooks.
Nate Dogg be the first
Nate Dogg
one.
is probably the first
First
call
one.
I'm making
Because that
if
voice,
he was
boy.
alive.
Who's the
That
second?
voice.
I would probably call, can you hear Chris Brown on a lot of hooks? You go call a Chris Brown. I wouldn't even call Usher. That's the point I'm trying to get you to understand. I wouldn't call Usher for a hook. I would call Chris Brown for a hook. I would definitely call Nate Dogg for a hook.
Nate Dogg would be the
All
first
right,
one.
all right. So we derailed a little bit. I was just
But no, but
curious
this is
about
but it's a good question, by the way.
that. Anyway,
But-
Super Bowl
But let me,
overboard.
but let me, but let
a
me
bit
go,
much.
but let me go back to where we was going. So, we get to a
'cause
point
you
where
went there.
we get to a
I
point where
addressed that
everything
part.
slows down, and you get Alicia Keys. Now, Alicia Keys,
I made you mad.
no, we ain't got to that point yet. So Alicia, I gotta set the table a little bit. Alicia Keys, Usher, song, My Boo, 20 years ago, great song. Put it together. But this is the first time that they performed this song in 20 plus years. There's been a reason why they've never performed this song in 20 years. This is not on accident. Everybody think this is on accident that they ain't performed in 20 years and all of a sudden they want to do it now. You're going to do it now, 20 years later. So we thought it was going to be...
They thought they were grown. They
No,
thought
no,
they was
they
grown.
were grown then.
But they thought they. Come
But
on,
here's-
Cam.
But
You
here's,
know
the, but
it.
here's the thing I have a problem with.
Go for it.
Alicia Keys, I know everybody was saying, well, according to her husband, she was looking super fly in that outfit and she had the dress that came off. You know what? You know what, Swiss? Facts. But here's the other thing that I know.
I know
You
Swiss.
are the only one who could openly say that without it being a problem. You want to know why? Because you could say that about your wife. If I said that about your wife and you were in earshot, you would have a problem with it. If I said your wife was looking drop dead fine, she was wearing the heck out of that outfit, and you were in earshot, you would have a problem with me, and you would send your handlers on me and my team, and it's a big brawl in front of Vegas, right?
In Vegas, of all places.
In Vegas. But You saying, oh, she was just wearing that dress, and this is what we should be talking about. Yeah, we should, because if it was anybody else but Usher.
Wait. Now, time out. Hold on.
No,
I got a
but it's
question.
important, because that is your wife. You say that about your wife.
So
we can't say that about your wife.
Let me clarify.
We can say that from afar.
Let me ask you a question, because I know you got the answer. You think she wore that dress on purpose?
Of course,
Do you think she planned that? She planned that dress to wear that dress?
But it wasn't on purpose like y'all think it was.
That's what I'm trying. That's the point I'm trying to make.
The purpose was, she was going to show off.
Of course.
Obviously, trust me.
Of
Every
course.
single person who's been on that stage, Beyonce,
Yeah, Janet
MIA,
Jackson,
Nicki Minaj, Madonna, any
yeah.
female who's been on that stage always dressed.
You know that.
Wow. But even with that being said, as great as that dress looked on her, it was still conservative. It wasn't a super short skirt. It was still conservative.
It was just a loud red. That's all that was.
It was just red.
Cool. Something funny, I just looked it up right now. A lot of boo is a very old slang word for girl.
Yes,
and people
my
are looking it
girl.
up 'cause they don't know what it means.
Yes. See now y'all catching up a little
I
bit.
can do
Let's
what it
catch
means,
up.
but go ahead.
So my girl, my boo. Now, when you see the performance, after she gets off the piano and they started doing the song, you're like, oh, it's gonna be a little cutesy. They gonna like they gonna diddy bop a little bit, cool, and get off the stage. Nah, first thing Usher's gonna do is be messy, right? I can't reenact this on camera. Y'all have to look up the video.
I can.
But he walked around.
Got into his feelings.
No. We haven't got that for you. No,
got into his
before
feelings.
he got there, he walked around the stage, walked around her, stared her down. Right hand taps her cool on her butt. I mean, keep in mind, this is national TV. With every single eyes on you watching.
All the ratchets,
and the first thing
all the players.
First thing you do is tap her on her butt. Not the small of her back, not her shoulder. No,
But
just
it
like
wasn't. It wasn't even a playful tap. It was just like.
It was the hold the hand on the butt for like 3 seconds and kept walking.
Lord bless her.
And tap the butt. No. But the thing is, she's a married woman that you're doing this to. She's married. I gotta preface this. She is super married. Tap the butt. Then you go around and do all the singing and hugging and stuff, and then you grab her from behind, and that's where you get to the picture that you see right here. So, the problem I have with this is that you tell me, I'm gonna pose this question. As many females as y'all dealt with, that y'all interacted with, I don't care how cool you were, how many of them have you grabbed from behind?
I don't have a record, so take a guess.
You probably maybe one or two. How many of them have you grabbed from behind? Period. Be honest.
So
No. I'm asking this man here. I know.
Thank you, Vic.
No.
Thank you, Vic.
No. How many have y'all grabbed from behind?
We really talking about this?
Yes, we are. Because it's important to the conversation. How many have y'all grabbed from behind?
he just did his laundry. You want him to take it out?
Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna say four. I'm gonna say four.
More for more?
How many were you? No. Let me ask this question. How many of them?
That was a good one. That was a good one.
No. How many of them were you
Actually
dating? Of those four,
Two.
And the other two were. Got it.
Yeah.
Were they single?
Yeah.
They weren't married.
No.
They weren't in a relationship. They were single, right?
Single.
I want to set the stage for that.
Well, wait. No, wait.
Go.
I can't lie on this one. One of them wasn't.
So you were tricking.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
That one I was tricking.
Got it.
I'll keep it tall with you on that one.
I got it. This is the point I'm trying to get after. When you interact with a female, it is a rarity when you could pull up on a female from behind.
Yeah.
Grab them. Let me pull up the picture for everybody, and for everybody can see it. Y'all, I know y'all already seen it. For everybody can see it on the camera.
Wait, you got me on that
rarity.
one. Por favor, that was a
It is
good
a
one.
rarity when you can pull up on a female from behind, grab them, waist high, hug on them like such, and you not either get slapped, socked, elbowed, anything like that, anything of the sort.
No, if you're gonna take it there,
If they are in a relationship with, if they are, no, for real, no,
I know, I'm just imagining if she pepper sprayed him on stage.
No. So this is
You know what?
No,
Not to cut you
that
off.
was
I
hilarious.
swear to God, I thought that was really actually gonna. I thought she was gonna hit him with the
No,
elbow.
that's the point I'm trying to get
That's
to.
why I was wondering if that was gonna happen. So
That's
that's funny because I was waiting to see if that was gonna happen.
The thing is, she didn't push him off.
She didn't.
She didn't push him off.
She was
didn't
enjoying
elbow.
every moment.
She didn't even flinch. You look at the picture,
Oh, I did.
it went from being like smiling and cheesing to she is in that moment in her
Into-
feelings so much
in her
that
feelings.
she is like melted into Usher's shoulders and arms and body, but to all that. So from her point of view, now everybody's like, oh, now all the females.
Yeah.
Let me be honest with
Clear
you.
it up,
Let
please.
me be honest with you, females. I know y'all think this is cute, right?
Well, it's
But
only
y'all
cute
don't
because they want to imagine it's them.
Y'all think it's cute.
Wait. Hold on. Stop. Repeat that one more time.
It's only cute because they want to fantasize it's them.
Thank you.
Right.
That's why
But
it's
here's
cute.
the problem with it not being cute.
Because it's not a fantasy.
No, because she's married
That's what I mean.
to somebody else, and that is not her husband.
Like I said, it would have been amazing if they were married. That was a married couple. That'd be amazing.
If it
But they weren't.
when Beyonce and Jay-Z did it on the Run tour,
They were married.
they were married, so it made sense.
Sense.
So it didn't have nothing to this.
Because all this was
But
a massive display of.
this is a married woman who is allowing another dude to grab her from behind, hug her, keep her in the embrace.
Hold it tight. So
He
tight.
has his eyes closed. She has her eyes closed. And this is not them singing with their eyes closed. And don't give me she was in a moment trying to sing. No, she wasn't.
She wasn't.
She was a half second away from having all them clothes come off if it was in the middle of the stage. Do y'all want me to be honest? Do y'all want me to be honest?
Well, it's just one of those.
Hey, Karen,
I'm not even trying to be funny.
Where were they at? One more time.
They're at the Super Bowl
Where location?
in Vegas. And let me tell you something.
Take your glasses off on that one, because you
I-
know.
I-
Let me tell you something.
You got some hurt in your eyes, man.
No,
No, because y'all don't understand. Because when you are
married.
there is the sanctity of the relationship. You as a guy would not allow anybody to be that close to your wife. Meaning that I don't care, y'all cool, but I still wouldn't let y'all do that without it being a problem.
And as brothers, we wouldn't want to do
No,
that.
that's
Exactly.
the other thing. Because this is why I said Usher was being messy. Because
He knew.
he knew who she was. He knows he's married. He knows her husband. But you're going to grab on her.
The one thing what really bothered me about that too is when he put that smirk on his face, like
No,
knowing,
forget the smirk.
like knowing he knew he was like.
Family, look at the picture one more time.
Oh, I seen
Look
it.
at the eyes closed.
Yeah.
And her eyes closed, and them being in that moment as if it was them two who were married.
Now here's the thing. We got to understand the culture we live in. And the culture we live in is pretty. It loves sex. This culture we live in, it's very
They
pornographic.
both were sweating too, and he had the Michael Jackson gloves.
Right? It's a really pornographic culture. Now, why am I saying this? Well, I'm not going to pretend like that. I didn't watch the halftime show, knowing how halftime shows go. It's very showing. And what I'm trying to say is,
Very showing. Thank you.
yeah, it's just one of those things where
You don't know what's going. You can't expect what's going to happen. That's why.
people, they like this because it is wrong. But that's why they like it. Evil loves evil. And nothing's more evil than being unfaithful for the whole states to see. That's a pretty heinous act what happened. It doesn't matter that nothing happened. No, everything happened on that stage. And here's the thing. It doesn't require physical things to happen for it to be counted as an unfaithfulness. It's emotionally unfaithful, which in the eyes of God is the exact same thing as if doing the deed.
Right.
And that's what we saw. We saw a deed of unfaithful behavior between a married woman and
A married dude who just got married.
So what we
Just got
saw-
married.
was
just got married.
so what we saw essentially was televised.
I got a question for you, Cam.
Televised unfaithfulness on full display, right? And it sends all the type of wrong messages, especially to a lot of young impressionable women.
I agree with you on
To
that one.
where they're going to look at this and they're going to say, she's married, yet she's letting a dude grab up on her. I have a boyfriend.
And I'm going to allow this to happen.
So I'm going to allow some other dude to grab up on her. Right? I know that may sound like a little extreme, but people are very impressionable.
No, you're not wrong.
Let me explain this.
This is going to affect women far more than it will affect men. Men are now going to be on much more the defensive. And
Because the thing is, you always
married man.
No. Again,
Just in
all
general.
So when you're in a married situation, you're playing defense already, and now you're playing defense against something like this because now they think that it's cool. It is nothing cool about a female who would justify putting themselves in this position. But it's also not cool for Usher to initiate something like that, knowing that she is married and knowing that he's married. Because if it was me and mine, it would be a problem. If I'm Swiss Beats and that happened on that stage, I'm gonna keep it really, really tall with you, like my middle name Kareem Tall. Forget a football. I'm coming for if I'm in the booth. If I'm in the booth,
you're going to come in with shoulder pads.
If I'm in the booth watching this show with Jay-Z, who was putting this production on,
He gonna throw a football.
No, forget that. If I'm in the booth watching it from Jay-Z, I'm like, Jay.
Hey, Usher, you too
Jay,
close. Bam.
show over.
So,
Show over. I'm walking down, and as soon
He gonna pull a
as
Will
they-
Smith.
No, no.
He gonna pull a Will
I
Smith.
have a conversation with both of them. And here's the reason why I'm gonna have an issue with both of them. I'm gonna have an issue with Usher. I'm gonna knock him. I'm gonna knock him smooth out because he knows.
Time out. So 3 questions. So first of all, the first question. So who would you confront first?
Usher.
Okay.
Why?
Okay. Just want to clarify that.
No. And here's the reason why I'm confronting Usher first, because he is a no. Here's the deal. No, it's a good question.
I can still imagine him throwing
because he shut up, because I would too. You would see Usher with the whole little. No, here's the reason why. Here's the reason. It's a fact. Because it's the whole fact.
In the audience.
I'll be Sandman Sam snatching
But
somebody off stage.
everybody will be looking around. Be like, who threw the
Who would have threw the football? Yeah, facts. Had that whole little,
the whole performance would have stopped right there.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Whole
That's
show stop.
the point.
But no,
That's
but
why I'm laughing, 'cause
but
it's
you asked a very good
hilarious.
question. Who would I confront first?
Yeah.
The only reason why I would confront Usher first. The only reason why I would confront Usher first in that situation, and not my wife first.
Wait, what jersey would he be wearing?
Forget all that. Let me answer this. The reason why, come on, answer your question. The reason why I'm so only a Raider fan would do it. Thanks.
Yeah. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
The only reason why I would confront Usher first is because he knows.
He know better.
He knows that that's my wife.
Yeah.
That makes sense. If he was unknowing,
There'd be leniency.
that's something. I would still have a conversation with him,
have a
but the
conversation.
conversation is second.
So,
But I'm having a conversation with him first because he knows that he's being messy in that moment, and we will have to handle that.
So, question
but
number 2.
Do I still talk to my wife?
Yes.
The answer to that is yes. She will equally get the conversation because you allowed it to be. You didn't flinch. You didn't elbow. You didn't headbutt. You didn't kick a foot up. You didn't even semi-sneeze.
You didn't even throw a football.
You didn't even semi-sneeze in that moment. You sat there, melted in that dude's arms, closed your eyes as if it was me.
it was like alfalfa and Darwin.
Or the worst part, she knew it wasn't him.
And that's the kicker. And you knew it wasn't you, and you didn't kick him off. We got a bigger issue.
yeah.
Because if you allow it on something like that's on the stage, what are
What
you?
is happening?
No, what are you allowing when I'm no? What are you allowing? What are you allowing when I'm not there? If you're allowing this
That's what I
on
was-
national
That's what I was going
TV,
to ask you.
what if you're allowing this on national TV to have a dude hug up on you like this? What are you allowing when I'm not in your
Now,
presence?
question number 2. Would you have a problem if it wasn't from the back or it was just like a side hug? type movement. What you still?
That's different because here's the thing.
A
Goes
side
back,
hug
no,
is
no,
a very sibling thing.
no.
Yeah.
It goes back to what I tell you.
But people are taking
No,
it
it goes.
different.
No, it goes back to what my
It all
original.
depends on hand
No, it goes back to what my original question was. How many females have you hugged from behind? Period. I could tell you the 4 of them that I did.
49ers?
Shut up. The 4 females that I hugged from behind, I was all in relationships with. It was never been a time. So shout out. So I'm gonna say this. Shout out to my boy, the Ace of Queen Heart. Shout out to my boys, Tony. Shout out to my.
We're having too much fun.
No, shout out to my squad. Shout out to the Ace and Queen of Hearts. Shout out to Tony and Don. I've known them for 30 years. I've known them since high school. I would never even think about running up on his wife from behind, even though I have known her longer than I've known him. But out of the respect and love I have for both of them, I will never approach her from behind. It will always be handshake, hug from the front, something friendly from the side, something friendly.
It's
But it would
literally all
never
up
be
here.
nothing. It will never be nothing even remotely sexual, remotely intimate, even like that, because I have too much love and respect for them.
Because there's something deeply wrong with you that if you got a brother, right, or you got a brother or sister and they're in a relationship, and you look at your brother's wife in a lustful way, or you look at your, a woman you've known a long time, but she gets married to another man, and then you start looking at her lustful. That is a very deep problem within your own heart.
Yes.
Exactly.
That is a very,
Yes,
very
There
troubling
is
thing.
a line.
Preach, Victor, tell it.
No,
Yes.
it's a line when it comes
Because-
to, you're right. It's a line when it comes to people in relationships and people who are married especially. A lot of times, a lot of guys are so into busting up what somebody else have. I could get that girl, no matter what. But the problem is the girls allow it to be.
Well,
And so, but part of it is guys have to kind of stop being as messy in that regard, but girls have to be like, if I'm in a relationship, if I really like the person who I'm with, I need to protect the relationship, and part of that is shooing off and elbowing off some of these other knuckleheads who are trying to press up on me just because they're giving me a little bit of attention.
Well, man, it's like wood needs a spark if there's going to be smoke. So,
Right. But see, here's the problem. You said something super important. A lot of people like messy.
Yes.
They like messy. They want it to be messy.
It's disgusting, but yes.
No, they like it. And I can't
That's
stand
sad, but
messiness.
true.
I know messy. I know
Let's just call it sinfulness. They love sin.
exactly, and they love that stuff, and it's so stupid. So when I saw this, and I saw Swiss's response, that's not the response I'm having.
What did he say?
You don't want to know what he said.
It was a
We
good
don't.
show.
No.
What did he say?
We don't want no negativity around here.
Oh, okay, so he was okay with it. That's not good.
Yes, you cannot.
That's bad. That's really
There is nothing.
But you know what?
There is nothing in that situation that I would allow. Period.
But I gotta give him credit on that one. He
didn't Will Smith him?
Yeah, because he.
I shouldn't have to say that, but he did. He should have will. See,
It's
this is
sad that
no.
that's a
So this
phrase.
no. So this is the time.
That's what-
No. This is the time when you should have Will Smith somebody. When Will Smith did it, he
Why are
wasn't
you
the
saying
time.
just say slap?
we,
Because it sounds better when you say Will Smith.
we Will Smith. Forget all that. Forget the slap.
We Will
This is the
Smith.
time you should have Will Smith them.
Yeah, keep
And
your
keep
arms
your
off my wife.
arms
What are you
off
gonna
my
say?
keep your arms off my wife.
And still throw the
Keep your
football at
keep
him.
the keep your hands off my wife's butt. That's the time you go Will Smith on
Yes.
people. The time is not. It's not because of a joke. Because somebody physically done something and you and I shot. Trust me. Show over.
Yeah, you just should have started moving the minute the butt touch happened.
As soon, exactly.
Yes.
As soon as the butt touch happened, I'd have been walking down. I'd have been at the side of the stage, waiting for something else to happen. As soon as he did the little hug thing, I'm walking up all on that stage. I'm Swiss Beats. Y'all know who I am. Y'all know who I be. Swizzy.
Put a Bobby Brown.
I would have told Jay-Z, you better play one of my songs ASAP.
So question number 3. This is the last one.
You'd have heard, bring them out, bring them out.
So question number 3. Do you think both Swizzy B and Usher's wife, you think they're gonna retaliate? You know what
Swiss and Alicia Keys retaliate how?
No. You think Swizz Beat and Usher's wife will retaliate?
With each other?
No.
Oh no, as far as like,
Being-
no. Here's the thing. So
You know what I'm talking about.
So
basically,
what's the conversation? What would Swiss do, and what would Usher's wife do?
Yeah.
Good question. Here's what Usher's wife's gonna do.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. You wanna know why? Because she's just into the marriage, and she's like, she thinks that this is how this is supposed to go.
I guarantee you,
Now,
you convince her. Oh,
Swiss
babe, it's
beats.
just an hour.
Now, Swiss, on the other hand, he's going to let this go because he's trying to be the bigger person.
Yeah.
I know what he's trying to do. This is why I'm not completely mad about the statement that he made per se. But this is not the time to make. I know you're trying to make it like, let me just let this go away. I'll address this privately, whatever it may be. I get the whole address it privately part of the conversation, and you do address this privately. You do not address this in the public's eye. I know the public wants you to say something, and the best thing to do in that situation is, if I was to type it, me and my wife will handle this privately. Please respect us as we handle this situation privately.
This is a thing where, look, as a believer, follower of Christ, I would not condone needless or senseless violence against anyone. However, there's only times where physical violence, I can see it being viable, and that's when you are threatened or when a man lays hands on your wife. And in any way, whether it be violent or sexual. And he knows that she's married. Because the sanctity of marriage is so sacred, it's so holy, it's so beautiful, that righteous indignation could only be the right response to seeing someone violate something so holy. For marriage is so beautiful in the eyes of God, even marriage amongst unbelievers, right, is something that is valuable to society. So when that marriage is violated so blatantly, so openly, so disgustingly, it's understandable to have a sense of righteous indignation. If anything, a lack of righteous indignation from seeing the flesh of your flesh, your literal other half, being touched, and you don't feel righteous indignation, there's something wrong with you, because that should not be the response. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and commit murder or anything, but fury is a natural response to seeing something holy violated. Everybody has a sense of righteousness. Granted, it's horribly mangled by sin, but it's still there.
Yeah.
You know, people love it when a pedophile is sent to prison, right? People love it when the bad guy gets caught. People love the Dirty Harry movies, like the Deadpool,
Because
when
they know
that guy
that
gets killed.
they know the outcome of that situation is going to happen.
No, but see, the thing is,
But you get what I'm saying.
yeah, I
right?
get exactly what you're saying. Your job in a relationship, when y'all get to it, and in marriage especially, part of it is to protect. And everybody gets caught up in the providing part. You gotta protect.
But the problem is, Cameron, nowadays, so many people, and especially women, have been deceived that protection is oppression.
No, protection, yeah, because they think that you're trying to hold them back. No, a lot of times in the protection, your job is to shield the people who you love from situations and scenarios that would be harmful to not just them, but to people around them. God, what do I always say?
Bigger than you.
And when you understand that you got to get your selfish ways out of your system and understand that it is bigger than what you are doing in that moment, then you will understand that you got to protect people. So if you're willing to, people are so willing to protect their friends, but they're not willing to protect their relationship.
It's because things are backwards.
Yes, because it's completely backwards. But if you're in a relationship, and especially when you're in marriage, part of it is, if you love that person like that, your job is to make sure that they're good no matter what. So that means that if a situation like that happens, you got to go and protect your wife. And sometimes you're not just protecting them from a physical danger per se, you got to protect them from the emotional stuff that happens to them. And this was very emotional. Alicia Keys was emotionally in that moment so much that she forgot that she was in the arms of another dude. Your job as a husband is to protect from that.
You know, people don't.
And that part right there too.
But the flip of that coin is she has to be protective of the relationship too, to be like, I love my husband enough to be able to have the awareness to try to do what I can to get out of that situation. But if I cannot, her husband needs to be the one to emotionally protect her to make sure that she is good and get out of that situation unscathed as much as possible.
The thing about it too is that this is not what we're talking about this table. We're not so caught up in their relationship. We're not so caught up in what just happened. We're more caught up in the ripple effect that this is going to have.
Yes.
That's what we're really concerned about. If this was like at a concert or something, or something, that it'd be a little bit different. But this was at the Super Bowl, the most televised event in the entire
Correct.
year.
Correct.
And a lot of people saw it, and this is going to affect the thinking process of a lot of people. The ripple effect of this is going to be very telling and very scary.
Right.
That's what the real concern is.
No, but it goes back into a previous, and this is why I said Usher got to cool out, because he knows what he's doing. Because this is not the first time he's done it.
this.
And then the problem is he made a brand off of doing this.
Big
He
dog?
just, yes, he just broke up a relationship with Keke Palmer
Palmer.
and her boyfriend because of this. And then what happened thereafter was, because he got so much traction and notoriety, you know what the women start doing? A lot of the celebs want to go to the show and get the same experience that Keke Palmer got.
But
And it's terrible because the
But
women purposely put themselves
was-
to be messy in that situation,
not
knowing
to-
it's him and
not
knowing
to-
he would do it.
not to diss Keke Palmer. I'm a huge fan of her. I got nothing but love and respect for her, but
No, she was messy.
She was messy.
That's my problem. And her boyfriend at the time
She
was
was
trying
messy.
to protect her from being in that situation, knowing the type of dude that Usher is. And this is the problem I have with Usher. You are that type dude. You're the same dude who did this with Chili. Oh, and Chili just came out and said the reason why she didn't marry you when you had asked her to marry him.
Because she knew.
Because she knew
It was a
that he was messy. And certain guys are messy like that. That's just what they are.
Just
And
say
he's one of them.
disgusting. It's disgusting.
It is. He's messy. It's a messy situation when you're up there disrupting other people's relationship purposely. He purposely did that. You purposely put this on display. You purposely put this for the world to see that even though that's Alicia Keys and she's married, in the back of her mind, in the back of his mind, he probably still think he got a shot with her. And guess what she did? Just solidified that notion.
Yeah, because
And if
She
I'm
let her-
Swiss, I'm pissed.
because the
She
horrifying
let her
thing
guard
is-
down.
Yeah, because the horrifying thing is because since it's televised, it must be approved.
Right.
That's just the whole thing about all this, you know. And
And even if it wasn't televised, even if this is what I'm saying, even if it was behind closed doors, it's worse.
no, it's all bad around.
Because guess
no
what would have
situation
happened
where
if
this
it was
is good.
worse?
was
Let's say
closed
he
door.
did this at the residency and they were on stage, and guess what happens when they go backstage and her husband ain't there?
Dude, this could have
yeah.
happened at a Chuck
It could
E.
have went.
Cheese.
It could have
would've
went.
been as bad.
You know how left this could have went? And then you hear about, well, Swiss Beats and Alicia Keys breaking up because
Usher, they got caught doing a nasty
But-
in the back.
Let's move on.
But
a
I
little
just
bit from
want
this.
to get to that because we had to get that off.
We got at least one more topic to
But
talk about.
we do got to address something really quick. Something happened a few days. Well, a couple of things happened a few days ago, and we need to address it really fast as a PVC podcast crew. First of all, prayers go out to all the people who lost their lives at the Joel Osteen shooting.
I think what was it, 15?
It was about 15 people who was injured or lost their life in that process. Prayers go out to each and every one of their families. So I need to say this: no matter what you feel about Joel Osteen or their church, that is still a church. That is still a place that people go in there with the intent to worship, to worship God and stuff. And I gotta say that, because I don't want to be like, well, we don't really like Joel Osteen. This is not that type
Well,
of
yeah,
conversation.
it's the thing where, look, I don't care for Joel Osteen's preaching, but I would never wish harm upon him.
Right.
Never pray harm upon his services or his people who listen to him. I never would want harm upon them. I have a problem with how he teaches and what he does, but I do not hate him.
Right.
I don't hate his people, and what happened is not only a tragedy, but horrific, right? And this is like a whole other hour of a topic right here, but we just wanted to bring it up to just say that it's a tragedy that this happened. It's a tragedy that people lost their lives, people were injured,
Well,
and the shooter themselves was The shooter themselves was a victim themselves of themselves because if you didn't know this, the shooter was a transgender person
That is correct.
who was a woman trying to be a man, I think.
A
Or was it a man trying
a
to be a
man,
woman?
a man who was trying to be a woman who had a history of criminal activity ahead of
The
time.
thing about it is that that person needed help,
Correct.
but they didn't get it. All they got was information that led them deeper down this dark path, which led to this sad, horrific event. This person, the shooter themselves, was a victim of a system that did not care about them because they did not receive help. They received affirmation. They received approval from the state, saying, "Oh, you think you're the opposite sex? Okay, here's some drugs, here's some surgery, here's all this stuff that will help you." Clearly, it didn't help you. This was somebody who needed real psychological help, who perhaps needed to be observed for a time to make sure they were safe, that no one else got hurt.
Right.
What we're seeing here is a prime example of negligence,
Right.
of disregard of human life. And this is the outcome, tragedy. This was just a whole horrific thing that happened, but in the sovereignty and the providence of the Lord, this happened. All we can do is pray for those who are suffering, who are afflicted, and that through all this, may Christ be proclaimed, that souls be saved. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what truly saves lives, is Christ himself, for he is the Savior.
This was the first time I'm hearing about this story. I didn't really get the whole. I heard a little bit about it. I didn't get the full detail on the thing like that. Most and foremost, God, what you said. I got. I don't wish harm on anybody, but what just happened there is another episode of negligence, another episode of wrong doing the wrong. A lot of people needs help out there, and sometimes people will shove other people off the wrong way just because they're not interested in their values or interested in their problems. But nobody should be able to deserve to leave to lose their life over something that could have been prevented or even solved. I'm not saying the situation was irrelevant, because it wasn't. This is a tragic event, and I hate to hear something like this, especially in the house of God, basically. So my condolences on the family members and
I got two different takes. Here's my first take. My first take is this. It's ironic that this transgender person decided to do this at a church.
Yeah.
Because the one place where you're going to get pushback about what your lifestyle would be in most churches would be at church. Now, the conversation has been, well, in church, they're a little bit more accepting of like the gay, lesbian, trans, all that stuff. Not so much. Not like what y'all think it is. I know y'all hear from these like these Atlanta churches and stuff, and some of these black churches. No.
The thing about it is, if you believe the Bible, then you can't accept it, because accepting is approving. However, you don't reject or hate the person. That's not what's preached. You help them. You bring them to the knowledge of the truth. You explain to them why you can't affirm that, you can't accept that, you can't support that, because in the eyes of God, it is a sin.
Exactly.
In the eyes of God, it's an abomination. But that does not mean you hate the person.
Right, and you try to get them to get better.
You try to help the person.
Right.
You can help people without affirming people.
Correct.
That's the thing. Affirming them is the worst thing you can do, because you're affirming what's going to most likely send them to hell.
Correct.
You cannot do that for any sin.
Exactly.
Whether it be a dude going to church and says, "Man, I just love going after dudes' wives. I love that. That's just my thing."
Same
right?
conversation.
That
Same
any
conversation.
Like any church would say, "You know what? That's okay. God still loves you." They would say, "No, you need to repent and turn from evil and do good in the faith of Christ. You have to do that. And if you're unwilling to do that, you can't be associated with us."
Right.
It's the same thing with any sin. People tend to just rag on homosexuality, but that's not the only sin out there. There's
Right.
a lot of sins that the church cannot affirm. Greed, slothfulness, being lazy,
Right.
you know,
Lustfulness, a lot of stuff.
Lying is a really
Right,
big one.
right. We talked about that.
Gossip is one that should not be amongst the sins.
Right.
There's all these sins that are not good. They will kill the soul.
Right.
Right? So any church, any real God-fearing biblical church will not approve or affirm or accept sin, but it will love the sinner nonetheless.
Correct.
Because that sinner is in the threat of eternal hell.
Right.
But You know that I'm just saying that because that's
No, that's
No,
important.
no, no, it's
That's
super important. No, no, it's important.
People need to hear that.
Because people need to understand that in that situation, it's that look, it was a little bit bigger than that. It was just kind of ironic that that person was there
Because
at a church because you don't know if they were trying to get help. And, you know, it brought me a few questions like, were they there trying to get help and they didn't reach out and give them help? Was it they were just kind of there and they just kind of given up and this is a place where they wanted to do the action because they knew it was going to be people there?
it is also the possibility that clearly this person was suffering mentally. They weren't all there, and it could be a situation of where they just blamed God. A lot of people, maybe not verbally but consciously blame God for a lot of their problems, not understanding who God really is, but they like to blame Him. Because if they can't blame anyone, that means it's their fault.
Right.
And nobody ever wants to take responsibility. But it could also be a case of, it just be a case, this is God's fault. I am this way because of Him. I want to hurt Him. And that's why they may have attacked the church. This is speculation. I don't know.
This is one of the things I thought about.
It's just like, because like you said, it was a church.
Right.
Right.
Out of all places.
So that myself, you see, it's a possibility that could have been it. But I mean, the motive isn't as important as it's just a very unfortunate event. And to go forward a little bit, we also want to talk about another shooting.
Hold on. Let me address one more thing and then we will.
Right.
So here's the other point I want to make and it's super important. I call it the residual effect behind it. So what happens now when people pull up to the church next week or this upcoming week when they pull up to church? Now, for me, it's a little bit personal because when you go to a big church and you see something like that happen at a big church, and I know how it in Texas is a little bit different than what we out here in California. In Texas, it's a conceal and carry type situation. So the last thing you would want to do to pull up into a church is to have everybody got the guns on the waist now because they don't want this to happen again. No, because now it's like now you're in like super defense mode. The last thing, no. Here's the thing.
But I get what you're
unless
saying.
you're the security team, yeah.
Not just security team, but now you got everybody on edge now. Like if
Amber Alert.
anything pops off,
Because, yeah, like you're saying, it's no longer a house of worship, but a house of fear.
right? And you should not go into the church, into the house of God, fearful of
man.
something, of anything.
Anything.
You're supposed to go to the house of God as a place of worship for you to commune with God and people who are like-minded with you, not to be in fear of anybody who walks up in there and be like the first thing that even moves the wrong way.
This is just, it's another thing where it's going to have another negative effect. Like a second ago when we were talking about the Super Bowl, how there's going to be ripple effects. This will have ripple effects. Right? And now there's going to be possibly even more of these trans people who are in desperate need of help, and they desperately need the gospel of Christ,
Right.
who may not receive it because there are going to be people out there who are afraid that they may snap like that.
They're afraid to walk into the church. And here's the reason why it's important for me. So for me to go to a big church, for my mom who's a worker in said big church, and it's on cameras just like Joel Osteen's church is, it's always now, you think it's a fear there? Think about the churches out here now. You don't think them churches are going to be on edge? Mm-hmm. I've seen church people now who got their family members in the parking lot in case something pops off. You don't want to be in a church where you got the church and everybody in the church and their mamas and grandmothers all in the church and stuff, and then you got the hood literally on the block, guarding the block, just to make sure that nothing pops off on the block because of something like this that happened. Yeah. You don't want to have to go to a church.
I've seen that happen.
No, I've been in that
situation.
There. You know, and the kicker is when you think like the whole gang contingent is they ain't gonna look out for the church. Trust me, they will, because their family's in there. But they're out there on the block, and you wouldn't want to have that.
And the sad thing is what this also demonstrates.
And you would want them inside the church, getting ministered to, and not outside the church trying to play guard dog for the church.
And the sad thing is what this really demonstrates is a severe lack of faith in God. because you're not trusting Him to protect people.
Right.
People will look at this and say, well, why didn't God do this? I can't tell you why God allowed this to happen, but you still
That's a
have to
big
trust
fact.
Him.
What you
God
just said, Victor.
allows everything to
Everything
happen
happen
for
for
a
a
reason, with reason.
He says it this way. He said it this way. Everything that happens, the Lord allows, and it is for the good of those who love Him.
Right.
Right? It is for the good of the saints. Right? Now, some people are going to take that the wrong way and say, well, are you saying God doesn't save others? He doesn't protect some people and
That's
protects
not what you
others?
said.
No.
No, the Lord is going to do what the Lord does, and I know the Lord is good, therefore He can be trusted at all times.
Yes.
At all times. Don't ever resort to trusting man, because that will fail. A lack of trust in God and a lack of faith in God has done nothing but lead anyone to ruin. The worst thing you can do, and also it's the sin of idolatry, because you're thinking someone other than God,
God
can really protect you.
Facts.
It's always a failure to understand and to grasp and to, above all, believe God is who He is.
Right.
And if you truly come to understand and believe He is who He is, you have nothing to fear.
Right.
And the Lord Himself tells you in His scriptures, look, listen, if someone were to, this is not verbatim, but if someone were to break into your house at night and they're over your bed about to stab you to death, don't fear that person. Instead, fear the one who, no, it says that, do not fear the one who can kill your body and then do no more. Instead, fear the one who can kill your body and send your soul into hell. Yes,
I'll give you,
fear Him.
That's deep
I'll,
as
no,
shit
no,
right
I'll
there.
give you. I'll give you even. Here's the simple.
Wow.
Here's the scripture that
Because,
is.
because
no, no.
once you fear God,
No, I
everything
get
else
that
is
part.
silly.
Right, but here's the thing. I'll give you a scripture that is simplified even further. God did not give you the spirit of fear, but the power of give you the strength, the power of love, and of a sound mind. God never have given us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. He gives us strength to even endure situations like this. He gives us the love to be compassionate even when things have happened. And giving us a sound mind to say, I'm going to have a clear perspective on life even after these situations happen. But He never has given us fear. We give ourselves fear. God never given us fear. That's script, and that's an actual scripture.
Yeah, the only fear when it comes to
Yeah,
God
somebody
is
has
the fear of
scripture.
Him. The fear of God is healthy. That's a good
Yes,
fear of God.
right.
But fear of man, that leads to all types
Right.
of problems.
And that's the problem. We fear everything else but God.
Yeah, even the scriptures talk about this in James, where it's like, there are those who are estranged from God and they talk about Him, yet they do not tremble.
Right.
Where the demons
Demons
themselves
Tremble
tremble at the name.
at the word, at the name of Christ. They
I
get
just
scared.
read that not
Yes.
too long ago.
You know,
They get scared of the
They get
name
names.
of Christ, and we don't fear it at all.
not as it should be. Now there is a different. Now the Bible does talk about a few different fears. It talks about reverence kind of fear,
Right.
which is true. The Lord should be revered at all times. But it's also talking about that sort of fear that you're actually afraid of. And both fears are valid when it comes to the Lord, I would say. Right? He deserves reverence, but He should also be truly feared, because we'll never grasp it in this life, but He is beyond comprehension. Like He is terrifyingly strong and powerful, and He's here right now.
Correct.
He is currently amongst us. He sees our most inner thoughts, inner desires. He sees right through us. He knows everything we're ever going to say, ever said, and will ever do. He knows everything about us, more than we'll ever know ourselves.
That's a fact.
Right? And He still chooses to give us breath every second.
Right.
The Lord is one that cannot be fully appreciated and comprehended in this life. But there can always be the effort. But, scooting on from a
But
little
yeah, let me tag that onto
Yeah.
this. In the same vein of like the shooting and stuff, there was the incident that happened in Kansas City. You know, we were talking about the Super Bowl earlier. In the Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs played San Francisco 49ers. Kansas City Chiefs won. They had a party out here in Vegas, and then they went out to have a parade and a celebration in their hometown to celebrate with their fans. Unfortunately, there was an incident that happened in that parade, whereas as it wasn't a mass shooting as if it happened at Joel Osteen's shores. This was more of
This was
a
just
dispute between people, and because people can't handle disputes like grown men and women, everybody got to pull a gun out at the first flinch of something. And when people are mad and have no regard of anything else around them but to be selfish, they do selfish things and not understand that it's bigger than them.
Yeah.
And when you're pulling out guns and you're just shooting, well, let me just try to bop at this person, not knowing that one miss is hitting somebody else, another miss is hitting somebody else. There's kids, there's adults, there's players. You know how many kids got hit? Now, shout out, a lot of kids got hit. And there was so many others that could have gotten hit, and it was to the point where the football players who were there were just grabbing kids, sheltering them. Yo, come over here, sit on the side. We will protect you.
And shout out to them for doing that.
We talked about protection earlier.
And shout out to them for doing that for the kids.
I don't know you as a kid. You're not my own, but I am not going to let nothing happen to
this
you.
baby.
And I will ensure that you get back to your mom and dad wherever they are. And we will make sure your mom and dad is okay. The problem when you have situations like this is that you got to understand that even when you're upset, you cannot escalate these things to the point where it's got to be a gun at all times.
Especially out somewhere on public with 100 people.
And this is not a thing about gun control.
That doesn't help.
This is not about gun control and gun law. No, this is about just being a responsible person that in an argument that it doesn't have to be a gun pulled out at every single instance. Because you gotta understand, one mistake doesn't just affect the person that you're gunning for. You're gunning at innocent people who was in the bystander because you don't know how to. You know.
Because it's, and just to clarify, you know, both situations we just talked about. Yes, they were shootings. The Joel Osteen shooting was what is considered a mass shooting. That was a person who went in there with complete intent to
shoot
kill
everything
and maim
moving.
anyone they saw. This one, however, at the parade is not a mass shooting because there are some people who are thinking this was a mass shooting. It wasn't, because these were just two idiots who had a dispute and they pulled guns on each other.
Right.
And there was just a lot of collateral damage. These guys did not go to that parade intending to blast people.
Yeah, but
they wound up shooting people because they're idiots.
This is like Boys in the Hood.
What is the right word? Is it just gun violence?
Yeah, it's gun violence. It's like Boys in the Hood. When you get into an argument, you bump Ricky on the shoulder. Hey, what's up with you, man? Something like that. And then it's like, man, they always do this in the hood. And then all of a sudden, old boy goes to his trunk and starts spraying the gun everywhere. In the movie, it didn't hit nobody. But in real life,
those bullets got to come down.
They got to come down and hit something. That's where movies in real life are not the same thing.
This wasn't a case of a hood situation. This was a case of I know who I want, but then I don't care who gets hit.
Right. It wasn't a hood situation per se, but it was a hood situation.
So that's clarified that part.
That has nothing to do with race.
No, I know.
That has everything to do with.
We didn't even talk about the race. This is just idiots.
Yeah, it's just these fools just out here I got to pull a gun no matter what. Really, that's what we do.
I can't help but kind of be reminded of the movie Friday, where Ice Cube's talking with his dad.
Yep.
Just kind of tells him, "Dad, you young generation.
You so quick to pull a gun.
You're so scared of getting
Get your ass whooped."
Yeah. Which is, I mean, granted, no violence should be approved, but at least in that case, it was just those two.
If y'all gonna handle it,
use your fists.
Y'all handle it. Y'all right there. Y'all get y'all squabbles off.
Let
them get 3 minutes, like we do anything else. Get 3 minutes, let them squabble a little bit, and then everybody go snatch them up, let them go their merry way. Or y'all could be like them boys on the docks, swim across the pool.
Just watching that video, not
fight. Get your little 5 minutes off, and then y'all let it go. And then y'all talk about it thereafter. But y'all don't have to pull out no guns every single time something pops off. But see, you're in that day and age where everybody's so quick to pull out the pistol and not want to handle it like grown people. Everybody thinks it's like Grand Theft Auto, where you can just shoot somebody and they automatically pop back to life again. It ain't a video game.
It's just
kids. It's not a video game.
They're so scared of getting hurt.
No, because they're so used to, like, in video gaming and in movies and stuff, gun violence is praised. Sex is the worst thing that you could do in life, apparently. You know, our society is so flippant. You go to any other country, this conversation is completely in reverse.
It's very, well, yes and no, but I get what you're saying.
It's a reverse conversation.
I mean, think of it this way. You know, we live in a day and age where people just act of, you know what, this person got to go just because he disrespected me type of thing. And you made a good point right there, Cam. People, you know, if you're not willing to, you know, handle your thing like a man, you know, put your dukes up, you know, just get it out once in a while. But you wouldn't just say, you know what, I'm finna pull out this Glock 39 on me. I don't care who's in the way. Bang, bang, bang. You know,
Everybody's so quick to...
everybody's so quick. You know, people don't. And you made a good quote on that. People won't take assholes.
No, they don't.
And then the day go by, you know, I just rather, you know what, let's just, you know, let's get our swing on and then call it a day.
Here's what happens.
Because after that, you know, we both still alive.
So let's say we get into a fight. We get the drop on them. Guess what happens then? They still want to pull out a gun because I got the drop on them.
Yeah, because, I mean, to be honest, nothing corrects an idiot quicker than a punch in the face.
Right. But then they get all embarrassed and shook, and then all of a sudden, well, I got to get my get back. I get my get back. But the get back is, we got to get guns. So instead of going to the whole get back portion of things, they just want to throw the guns out first. It's so stupid because everybody want to escalate stuff.
Like Tyson always said, everybody's irrelevant until they get hit.
Until they get hit at least once. But I want to address that. But before we head out, shout outs to the Kansas City Chiefs team who actually did a lot of work in helping. I heard Taylor Swift, believe it or not, she dropped in $100K to help the families of the woman who lost her kid.
Man, she's been doing really good for the community.
As much as flack that they've been trying to give Taylor Swift, she's always been real quick to hold people down when something goes sideways, and she's been really cool about that.
Shout out
so
to
I
her
have
for that.
I have nothing but respect in that regard for that. So there's no problem with that at all. But I know we kind of whipped through a couple of different topics. All of which, believe it or not, equally as important for completely different things.
Because they're all society.
Yes. The one thing I would tell you in society is that, you know, y'all gotta understand, like I've been trying to tell y'all, when y'all understand that, take your selfishness out of the equation and start looking out for each other, a lot of these situations tend to kind of be much easier to handle and much easier to digest. I think y'all will be a lot more better off in society when you be more grown about how you have your conversations and understand that it's bigger than just you and your personal feelings. And the other thing about that is that stop letting your kids dictate what grown people do. I think that's the other thing that's starting to happen. You're starting to see that rear its ugly head in society now. Is that kids are so these adults were just kids who didn't have no control or discipline. And now you're seeing them become adults with no control or discipline. So when adults and parents start actually teaching, listening, spending time with their kids, raising them the right way, that's the only way we have a chance to try to correct this society as best we can. It's not going to be perfect. It ain't going to be perfect until we get to heaven with Christ. Amen. But in the meantime, it can be better, but we have to be better as a society in raising our kids better. That's really what this comes down to. Anyway, fellas, get y'all on that thing before we get up out of here.
Well, this has been an episode where a lot of topics got really, really deep. I will say this. First and foremost, the Usher situation. Just be aware, you know, when things can happen in a different perspective when eyes is on you. So if you don't want that kind of attention, you better be aware of what you're trying to do or what you're trying to accomplish or what you're going to do and how it's going to affect you in the long run. Because it will happen, and trust me, I've been there. Cam, I'm pretty sure you've been there.
Yeah, fact.
Too.
Somebody almost lost their life for it, man. Let's talk about it.
Especially when you're dealing with somebody female. I'm going to just keep it talk with you on that one. Now, as far as the shooting incident, I'm not going to talk about the church one, you know, because that's a big topic that, you know, I have to say for later. But I will say this about the other incident that happened at Kansas. Just be mindful what you do, because I've been in a situation with a group of individuals where things can transpire to a different to a different point of view, and I ain't gonna sit here and discuss this online because I've seen trash actions get handled in certain situations deeply, and when it transpires, it happens. So just be mindful if you get yourself in any altercations or any disagreement with somebody. If there's a way you can chance to walk away from that situation, walk away. But if in another situation, if you got to put them dukes up, put them dukes up. But let's not be ignorant, boys and girls. Let's be adults. Let's be grown on this because people's lives are irrelevant, and it's sad that people can lose their life in one blink of an eye when somebody just pulled a strap out. So if you can't take that ass whooping, I don't know what to tell you. But besides that, I hope people who's tuning in and listening to this will learn something and take something from it. So that's all I gotta say, Vic.
All right, thank you, Bling Bling Boy. I appreciate it.
I know he's shining, trying to look cool as a chip, trying to
It looks good.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you. I
Take
know.
the hat
Trying
off.
to do something for the.
Hey, ball game. I ain't
That's
saying
right. You go bling all the way around. That's
So,
right.
you know,
Shine bright like a Polly.
trying to throw the ice, out, trying to shine up.
Shine right like a folly.
But
It'd have been different if Yana was here. Whew.
anyway,
Hey, we ain't gonna talk about that. Come on, Vic.
Anyway, I want to thank you, dear listener, for listening to this episode today, episode 72 of the PVC Podcast Crew. We did talk about some heavy stuff today. With the whole Super Bowl concert thing, if you're married, I encourage you, both husband and wife, to look after and protect one another. That is your other half. That is flesh of your flesh, bone of your bone. That is a beautiful union. It's to be cherished and protected. And don't ever let society or those who are popular dictate what is good and bad, for all they do is bad, really. And about the shootings, both the one at the church and at the parade, I do encourage you that if you are right with the Lord and you belong to Christ, I encourage you, please pray for them. Please pray. Prayer is so powerful. It's so important. It does not matter if it's a small prayer or a long prayer. Prayer is always brought before the Lord. He hears every single one of them. I encourage you, please pray for those who are suffering, those who are hurt, and just pray for that Christ be revealed through all tragedy, that souls may be saved. And if you are not in the right condition with the Lord, if you are not known by Him, but estranged from Him, then I encourage you to recognize that death can happen at any moment. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Repent of your sins and put your faith in Christ. Learn of Christ. There are many resources. I would encourage you to listen to either Grace to You or Living Waters, or look up called R.C. Sproul. These are all people who can teach you about Christ, but I can tell you simply this, is that you are a sinner and you need a Savior. You know you've done wrong and you know you're guilty. And there is one who will save you freely, willingly, and quickly, and His name is Christ. Put your faith and trust in Him. You cannot earn heaven. You cannot earn salvation. Only in Christ will you receive such a gift of eternal life. And I encourage you greatly, get right with Him today and let Him work in the life that He has given you. Because the end is coming quickly. The end of all things is near.
You ain't lying about that, brother.
You know, He's only getting closer one day at a time, 1 second at a time. Every second that passes is a second closer to His returning. So it is urgent. Don't be a fool. Don't be stupid. Be wise. Surrender yourself and trust in the one who will save you. It's not an if, it's not a but, it's a guarantee. And the tragedy is you don't have to lose out on this. You don't have to miss it. But that's all I gotta say. Let me pass it over to Nerd Boy Fresh,
I got you. Y'all
aka Cameron.
Mr. Nerd Boy Fresh. Y'all know how we get down. Anyway, besides that, y'all, it's been a great episode. I'm glad y'all had a chance to stick around. Hope y'all rolled out to the very end. If y'all haven't done so already, if y'all like what we do, definitely like and subscribe to the page. Catch us on all the other social media stuff if y'all so choose to. We appreciate all the love and support y'all have been giving to us, and we got some more big things coming. Of course, I want to let y'all know that. Just keep rolling with it. We got some things cooking for y'all. But besides that, we got episode 72 in the books. We'll be doing episode 73 in about a week or so. Be on the lookout for that. And man, y'all know how we get down, man. You know, I got my man Paul in the building. I got Vic in the building. My name is Cam, Mr. Nerd Boy Fresh.
Freaky.
Like always, it is God above everything. Till the next time, family. We will do this again soon.
Much love and respect.
Salute.